Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome to Track Walk episode number 85 in MX Simulator. And today we're looking at the 2016 Southwick National. Alright, track's back on the schedule. Super pumped about that, super pumped about the race this weekend. Going to be a pretty badass one, and this is kind of what the track looks like right here. This track was built by 137 on the forums, aka Kyle Watts. And he got some help from Race Carlin, who did the decals, SMR, who did the objects. I think maybe Barrington chipped in a little bit this week, and Wheels did up the packaging as usual. And apologies that this track walk is out so late this week. Obviously, we have already raced this in Sim. For the Pro Nationals, the Amateur Nationals will be on Sunday. But I'm still going to get this out before the actual IRL race, which is on Saturday. And hopefully this is out on Friday, which is the same day that I am recording all this, so we'll see how it goes. But this is Southwick right here, and you will also see the onboard lap as usual, and the making of the lap segment at the end of the video where you get to see me actually run the lap that you're watching right now. Live with commentary and all that good business. But the track is pretty fun, I would say. Built very well. Kyle Watts did a fantastic job. It's backwards as opposed to what we know it as, but as I've been told numerous times, this is actually the forward iteration of Southwick, and the way that they had been running it recently was backwards. But correct me if I'm wrong, any of you Massachusettsians, or whatever you want to call yourselves, because I'm not really sure. I'm not from Massachusetts, and I've never been to Southwick, so I don't know what the forwards or backwards way of the track is. All I know is that this apparently is the forwards way now, the way that we're going, but it's backwards to what everybody remembers it as, or in recent memory at least. Either way, it's a pretty fun track. There's some new sections, and jumps are backwards and all that good stuff, so I'd recommend trying it out if you haven't already. If not, you can just watch my video and watch me do an onboard lap right about now. Alright guys, welcome back to the making of the lap segment here on Track Walk episode 85 in MX Simulator, the 2016 Southwick National. And for those of you that are new to our Track Walk, this is where you get to see me run the lap that you've already seen and struggle through trying to run that lap, although this time around I don't believe I'll struggle that much with actually running a lap, so hopefully that goes a little bit smoother. And I only say that because this is probably the most I've ever had on a track like a pro national or a supercross, pro supercross, before actually doing track walks, since we've already raced the track in sim, and I did quite well, I must say. I'm pretty happy with a 4.6 in the 450 class for 5th overall last night. And track walks coming out late this week, pretty much because the track came out super late. I had to do virtual lap. I was busy with other stuff as well, so could not get track walk done until now. So I apologize for the fact that it's coming out so late, but at least it's better late than never. But yeah, 4.6 last night, so I was pretty pumped on that. That's the best result I think I've ever had at an outdoor national. When I won the moto that I won at Butts Creek in 2014, I finished 13th in the second moto because I went down in turn 1 and came from dead last to 13th. So I think I finished 6th overall that day, and I don't know if I've ever finished top 5 overall before, so pretty stoked on that performance, I must say. But as I said, I think it should be pretty quick that I'll run a lap, as having enough time on the track to have run a lap a couple times over now should just be able to go out and rip one real fast, and this will actually be a shorter track walk this week. But of course I'll say that and then not be able to run a lap, and it'll just be all fun and games for 25 minutes like it has been in every other track walk this year. But we can find out right now whether or not that's going to be true. So yeah, I enjoyed this track this week. I already mentioned, made by Kyle Watts. Probably the best track Kyle Watts has made for Race Factory competition, if not in his track building career, if you will. He builds some cool compounds and stuff like that, but this track I think takes the cake over that one. It's a really fun track, fun layout, and I think he built it pretty well for what it ended up being. So kudos to him for building a pretty epic track for us all to race on. My hands are sweating like crazy right now, and I don't know why. Must just be because it's super hot in here. It's like a nice, warm, sunny Southern California day. Not much can be said about this track, though. Good that it's back on the calendar. Good to see Southwick back. Kind of was sad to see it go in 2013, but it is back, and hopefully here to stay for quite some time. But obviously time will tell whether or not we see it on the schedule in the future. But I would not be miffed if it hangs around for quite a long time. I love sand tracks. Always have done really well on them in sim, but IRL I think they're unique just because they kind of throw like a wrench in the plans, if you will. So just when you think the series is kind of said and done, for example in the 450 class with Roxon kind of running away with it. I mean, Roxon's good in the sand, but this could be that round where everything goes south for him, you know. If it's going to go south, this could be the one that it happens, because it's a different track surface. It's a track that Roxon has only ridden twice before, I guess, huh? Because he was a rookie MX 2014, but he raced 2 outdoor seasons before that. So 2012 and 2013 it was on a 250F, but this will be the first time that Roxon and Tomac, for that matter, will see Southwick on a 450. So that's kind of unique, I guess, going into this weekend. Your 2 title contenders, never been on a 450 at this track before. So I don't know if either of them have ever ridden sand on a 450, because it's pretty rare that we see sand tracks in the US. People kind of say Millville is a sand-y-ish track, and it is, but it's not this type of sand. And although Roxon is from Europe and has dealt with Lommel and Lierop sand, and I'm sure some other sand tracks in the area, it has been some time, and I don't think he's ridden a 450 ever on like a good solid sand track before. But I could be wrong about both of them. They both might be a little bit more accustomed to it. Obviously Roxon lives in Florida now, so he understands sand a little bit, since Florida is almost all sand. But we'll see. I don't know what's going to take shape. Anything could happen. Fortunately, I don't think we will see Mr. Junkyard Dog John Dowd show up, as he customarily used to for Southwick, even though he's pretty close to 50 years old now. I think he showed up in his 40s at some point and finished on the podium back in like 2007, 2008, I think. So Dowdy always rips Southwick. Maybe his son Ryan Dowd will show up and race. I don't know. Now those guys are from the Massachusetts area. Gonna see Jimmy Dakota's back this weekend, also from the Massachusetts area. He's racing for Geico Honda for the rest of the season, filling in for Christian Craig. Whoops, SpongeBob. And with Dakotas always comes guys like Robbie Marshall and Mike Sotili, I think his name is, or something like that. Pretty much they call themselves the Jones Bros. I don't know where that comes from, but it's all the Massachusetts Rippas. So I'm sure they will have a strong showing, and we're expected to see rain also in the forecast this weekend, so that could even throw a bigger wrench into the plans. Remember, when I think of Southwick rain, the thing that comes to my mind immediately is the year that I think it was Hurricane Sandy or a big hurricane swept through the East Coast, and the track was just soaked, and Ryan Dungey dominated the first moto, but then his bike wouldn't like start, and he couldn't get to the line in time for the second moto. So the whole race started without Dungey, and there's a lot of videos of him online just flipping his lid, his mom standing right next to him trying to calm him down. And then finally, after the field is like halfway through lap one, Mike Gosler, who's his mechanic at the time, comes ripping down the hill, hands him the bike. Dungey takes off after the field. And I think he just got on the track before Justin Barsha, I think, who was leading the race, finished lap one. And so he just got out there. And yeah, it was a pretty crazy scenario. But he ended up 7th in that moto, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty epic comeback from almost being a lap down to finish 7th. But it was raining, like I said, that day, so it was kind of crazy. A lot of things going on, a lot of people crashing and stuff like that. But still pretty epic ride for Dungey. But unfortunately, we will not see Mr. Ryan Dungey this weekend, still hurt from that broken vertebra. And then the 250 class seems to be like the Cooper Webb show these last few weeks. So it's kind of his momentum to carry. He's got like a 12-point lead now on Savachi in the championship. And if he wins this weekend, I would assume he's probably just going to start running away with the championship from here. But if he doesn't, and maybe like the Martin Bros get up there and win because they're good in the sand, then all hell could break loose again, because then Webb will be out of his little momentum that he had carrying. And who knows what will happen. So the 250 class is crazy. The 450 class is pretty much a write-off with Roxon out front of it. But as I said, it is Southwick, so everything and anything could happen. And at Southwick, it most certainly will. So this lap feels pretty good. This is probably the lap that I'll run with. I was running 204s, 205s-ish in the race. So 206.9 isn't too bad. That's pretty much about like a medium lap time for me. My flyers were 204s, mid to low 204s. And then my slower laps that I wasn't necessarily crashing, but just making a lot of mistakes, like 208s, 209s. So right in the middle somewhere. And that is going to be the lap that I'm going to use for track walks. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this shortened version, but also late version of track walk. Apologize for it being out late, as I said, kind of busy week for us. If you like this video, please like it, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll get back to your comments as soon as we can. And we'll see you guys on the next track walk, which will be track walk episode 86 on Millville. And that'll be out hopefully on time next week. But until then, we'll see you next time. So long for now.